Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We have a crazy early chapter this week. We're back to One Piece Wednesdays, which it's been, I don't know, years since we had that. There was a stretch where we had this regularly, but I don't know. I'm here for it this week. I think it's because of the magazine break, but nonetheless, I am super excited. Obviously, Oda's been cooking lately, so I'm beyond excited to see if the Rocks flashback continues, because it's no longer the Loki flashback. It is now the Rocks flashback. There's no way Loki even knows all this information. This is narrator piece at this point. So I'm super excited. Also, major shout out to my guy Vex, the Lurking Legend, with the 5 gifted memberships. Quickly followed up by Bean Boy with the 5 gifted memberships. And you know what, guys? I'm a match you. I'm gonna do 5 gifted memberships from YouTube. Major shout out to you guys. I appreciate you. Also, I just noticed the chat now says at your guys' usernames. It's no longer just the username, it's the at thing, which some people don't have the at matched with their normal display name, so I might have to get used to some of these new names, but shout out to everyone who's here. I appreciate you. I heard, I don't know for sure, but I heard there's a break after this one too, which, hey, you know what, Oda, take all the breaks you need, my man. I know you've been busy. I'm sure you guys all saw the One Piece live action season 2 trailer that I think looks amazing. We saw Laboon, of course. So, I mean, it was an automatic 10 out of 10 in my opinion, but we saw Laboon, we saw Smoker, we saw a lot of the new set pieces. There's just a lot of cool stuff in there. So I'm super excited for season 2. They also mentioned that season 3 is coming, so that's pretty much confirmed. So that's amazing. So if you guys haven't seen that, make sure you do after the stream, because that was awesome. Let's see here. Let me go through. Quanidin with the $5. I'm always looking forward to your chapter ratings. What you got to say? 10 out of 10 chapter easily. Well, that tells me Rock's piece is continuing. How's your week been, Dak? Just came back from vacation in Turks and Caicos. Not ready to be back at work, dude. I hope you had an amazing time. I am very jealous. I was in pretty much the complete opposite because I stayed here in Ohio, but my week's been good, man. My week's been good. Got a little bit of sunburn the other day, but that's it's been a hot summer, so it's par for the course, I suppose. But that is amazing, dude. Turks and Caicos. Never been, but I've had enough friends who went and told me how amazing it was. So I hope you had an awesome time, and welcome back just in time for a new chapter. So I'm ready to see if that 10 out of 10 rating holds. And then RQ, member for 9 months. What up, Dak? Long time no see, dude. I am so glad you're back. And honestly, we've had all these breaks that it feels like I've barely seen any of you. But RQ, I'm so glad you could show up. And like I said earlier, now, I'm tempted to call you RQ6874, but I'm sure you just prefer RQ. Having the at names really throws me off here. I feel like through the stream, I'm gonna talk to somebody and not recognize they're the same person from before because the name is so different. So I don't know if I can change that back. I don't know if that's in the settings somewhere, but thank you guys for all your donations. I appreciate you. We're gonna hurry up and get into this because I'm ready, man. I mean, with the breaks that Oda's been taking, we haven't had a whole, the stuff has been amazing, and if there was a time to take break weeks, it's probably now, because the stuff is so amazing. We have so much to talk about, but nonetheless, I'm ready to get back into One Piece, man. I'm ready. And also, major shout out to everybody for all the support on the Eustace Kid video that I dropped. I know he's a bit of a hot topic, and trust me, I got enough comments about it. I got, when I would wake up for the last week or so, because the video's been out 6 days, I would wake up and I would have comments literally back to back that are like, oh, I love this idea, I hope this happens, I love Kid. And then the next comment's like, I hate Kid, this video's dumb. And then the next one's like, it would flip-flop back and forth, or at the beginning of the video, I mentioned Kid being kind of disappointing, and some people are like, Dak, you didn't say enough, Kid is the worst. And then I would get a comment like, Kid's not disappointing, he's great. So I know it's controversial, but regardless, thank you guys for all the support. I got a lot more videos on the way, so Oda's been helping with the break week, so I don't want to make any promises, but hopefully 2 videos out. I got 2 that are well in production, so hopefully we'll get those out. But Tiny Hangry Gnome, you said the duality of man. Exactly, that is exactly it. But all right, guys, we are going to go ahead and get into the actual chapters. So let's see, chapter 1157, the legendary bar. What bar could he be referring to? By the way, my Streamlabs was set up a little weird today. I don't know. Like, I streamed DK Bonanza yesterday on Twitch, and whenever I got on, my Streamlabs was messed up. But let me know if you guys can hear you guys should be able to hear the lo-fi, but you shouldn't be able to hear the other music I'm playing. If you can, let me know. But I don't think you can. The settings, all the names are different, but I think I got it figured out. But anyways, here we go. The legendary bar. So we're back to the Yamato cover story, which I've been waiting for, actually, because I know a lot of people, including myself, had some issues with it, and it was moving really slow, but it felt like we were getting to a really cool point. And then we haven't really had another installment for like a month now, right? Because we had a color page last time, we had all the breaks, So let's see. He died protecting the village from Kaido, leaving no trace of his body behind. So this is the guy from the West Blue, right, that we haven't heard about. What's the guy's name, the zombie from Thriller Bark? Is it him? Because Jigoro, do we know when he died? Because if this guy died fighting Kaido, that would be recent. Do we know how long ago Jigoro died? Do we know who this is? So I feel like that's a huge hint, right? Jigoro was a legendary swordsman who killed 7,000 pirates in order to protect his family. Kind of sounds like Kaido, like that. I don't know. That's very interesting. We'll come back to that later. Now we got to get into what I believe is Rock's piece. Oh, it's Rock's piece. All right. That's all I needed to see. All I needed to see was someone's face. The first one I actually saw was Wang Ji, of all people. But that was enough of a sign here. So let's see what the legendary bar is about. I have no idea. Oh, I see people in the chat saying Ashura Doji. Do we know? Well, they said from the West Blue, right? I thought he was from Wano. Yeah, he's from Wano, so I don't think it can be Ashura Doji, because the last one they said it was a guy from the West Blue, which is why Jigoro was a popular answer. But yeah, at least the wiki says that he's from Wano, which makes sense, so I don't think it could be him. Anyways, back into the actual chapter. Foot Colony, Temple of the International Philanthropy Federation. Does this tie to Mads, potentially? Because Dufeld was like a philanthropist. I think that was like part of his epithet or something tied to that. This is a ton of loot. Let's haul it all out. Nice work. That's everything. Let's book it. So we got all the Rocks pirates pulling off a heist of some sort at the Foot Colony. Let's book it. Please stop. That money was donated for poor children in need. Yeah, look, raiding the Philanthropy Federation sounds a little questionable. Yeah, right. If that's true, why hasn't it been turned over? You were gonna keep it, right? I mean, man, there's a whole discussion there about that. Because I feel like that's kind of a debate in real life, too, when charities don't immediately give all the money away, but sometimes there's legit reasons for it. Sometimes there's not. You know, I mean, definitely want to keep them honest. But either way, I feel like that's interesting. Oda's hitting some kind of deep stuff here, I feel like. Hey, Ochoku, hey. Lower the lift. We're still underground. Shut up already. Hey, Shiki. Oh, yeah, I totally forgot about him. Toss Chow. So we got Kaido and Whitebeard down there, and they just threw a bomb. Gee, ha ha ha. This way the rest of us all get bigger cuts, suckers. So he just tried killing Whitebeard and Kaido to get more money? Damn it, these bastards know everything about us. Isn't the army here yet? They're close, sir. Then we can't let them escape. Yes, sir, Lord High Priest. That's like too many, you know, honorific type names there, like Lord High Priest. Like, it should be Lord, your actual name. I don't know, whatever. If that's what he wants, so be it. Seal the temple. These iron bars just sprung up. They're trying to trap us, huh? I'll bust through. Out of the way. What? This is very interesting, just this entire setup. So, like, they're raiding a charity organization, essentially. And then Shiki was about to just bomb Whitebeard and Kaido. This is so... I mean, it's showing like all the infighting they had, I guess, right? A little bit, giving us some insight into kind of their actions. The hell? Is the island sinking? So this is definitely Whitebeard. No, this is an earthquake. It's got to be his handiwork. Newgate. The temple is... So Whitebeard just sunk this whole thing, bro. They are destroying this entire charity organization. They... I mean, I'm really hoping that this is a shady charity organization and not an actual one, or else this guy's gonna look bad. Gotta admit, I'm a bit jealous I can't do that. Interested in getting a power, huh? You'd better choose wisely if you seek one out. You'll be stuck with it for life. Good point. So this is interesting because now we know that Whitebeard does have this fruit already, which is, I think we didn't know yet, right? Because I know a lot of people were saying that maybe Rocks had it, or that Whitebeard got it at God Valley as one of the fruits in the chest, but it seems like he already has it, so... Damn, what? Whitebeard saw Shiki throw the bombs down there, and he's like, For one thing, Shiki, like, did you really think that bomb was going to take out Kaido and Whitebeard? I know they're a bit younger. I mean, Whitebeard's probably in his prime or near it at this point. Kaido's a little bit younger, but did you really think that little bomb was gonna kill them? Was that actually the plan? Because that's a poor plan. That's making me question Shiki's 20-year plan that he's supposed to be unfolding at some point. Who was it? Which one of you tried to ditch us down there? Figures it'd be you, Shiki. Oh, wait, and Silver Axe was down there? Okay. Oh, Kyokun. Thank goodness you survived. I was so worried about you. What the hell are you all doing? Everyone move it. Alright, so Rox is mad. I'm gonna kill your ass. Wow. You at least kept the treasure safe, right? Of course. Hey, Rox, look at the shore. It's the Navy. Vohaha. New challengers have shown up. Hey, knock it off with the infighting. This ain't the time. We should have been getting ready to ship off. The Marines are everywhere. That was fast. Did someone leak our plans? So that is so important for God Valley, in my opinion, because I'm far from the only one, but a lot of people have been saying there had to be some kind of traitor to God Valley, and I think that ties back to how the treasure even got taken from Hachinosu. Like, somebody probably let them in while Rox was gone or something like that. And the fact they're bringing this up, I feel like, is maybe evidence of that too. And the fact that Shiki threw the bomb in there is telling us right away, like, these guys don't really care about each other, which we kind of already knew, but it just builds onto the agenda that there's going to be a traitor somewhere, I think. Screw it. No point prepping to sail now. Get ready to fight. Plunder everything and sink them all. So this is like I feel like the third time, at least the second time, we've got a panel just like this with Rocks, like almost identical to this. So that's interesting. But in a mere 2 years since their formation, the record of the Rocks crew spoke for itself. So this means that we are 42 years in the past at this point. 16 documented raids, 76 sunken ships, 14 ports reduced to ash, 5 towns wiped off the map, 1 nation brought to ruin, 3 unprecedented violations of Article 18 of international law, and 25 records quietly erased. Dude, this dude's got a crazy resume. It's like, if this was in basketball terms, it'd be like 10-time champion, 15-time All-Star, 20-time All-NBA, 5-time scoring champion, 6-time defensive player of the year. Like, that's how I'm reading this. Even with the future Pirate King, Gold D. Rogers, sailing the seas, it would not be an overstatement to refer to this period as the era of Rocks, bro. The narrator's just so good sometimes, genuinely. Like, these little Oda boxes right here, and look at what's happening. Like, Rocks swung his sword and sent like a hockey beam, probably hockey slash, whatever, over to the ship, and look at these guys. Like, they're seeing their life flash before their eyes, bro. That is narrator's cooking. Enishi New World. So wait, is this ship right here? This is... Okay, this is the giant ship. I was about to ask. Did we see... So we didn't really get a good look at the Rocks pirate ship. Like, we see the... I think this is the back of it. But I was really curious about that because, like, of him looking for Gale Ra and whether he gets the Saber of Zebek soon or whatever, assuming that's their ship, because it's Blackbeard's ship. What are you doing? Leave this place at once, Harold. Enishi. Do we know? I'm going to look that up. Well, I don't want to look it up in case they've already made a wiki article or I'm going to get spoiled on something, but I'm curious if we've ever heard of that. All non-affiliated nations are considered lawless territories. Don't concern yourselves with the humans living here. They have no rights. That's messed up. The world government can't just decree everything like that. Let them go. This country gave aid to Elbaf during our famine. Out of the kindness of their hearts, they're our friends, our saviors. King Harold, help us. So, bro, this... I really wanted to see something like this from Harold, because we kind of saw his transition from being more hateful or resentful to kind of accepting humans and trying to work with them, and now seeing this, where he's, you know, outright telling other people, like, the government's wrong, this is not morally okay. Oh, I'm such a huge fan of that. That is, I can't get over how much I love Harold now. I mean, we got to figure out what the truth is with Harold and, like, whatever his ongoings are with the government, because there was probably something there, but... Oh, man. I love Harold. We're not leaving without repaying our debt. Harold, you understand that Elbaf is under consideration for becoming a member nation, correct? Intervening to help us would be one thing, but you'll only hurt your membership bid if you intervene on behalf of a non-affiliated country. So stay out of the way, Harold. So this guy is a bum. Whoever this is, I don't know what his name is. I don't know if we've ever seen this guy before, but he's a bum. I can tell you that right now. You scum, you aren't human. Oh, and I was getting worried that Harold might leave and, like, you know, think about it, but nah, he jumped right off the ship, man. King Harold exposed. Elbaf Monarch sinks innocent battleship. Alliance with government revealed as a ploy. World Economic Journal headline. So he just sunk their chances of joining the Reverie, apparently, which I feel like flips a lot of the opinion that a lot of us have been building about Harold and what went on with the government, right? With the Gods Knights and all that. So, I mean... Yo. I mean, Rox has really stolen the show lately. But Harold might end up being my favorite person of this flashback, honestly. Depending on what happens here. This right here... Oh, man. I love him. What a good character, Oda. Like, but he's still, like, so confusing, right? Because we don't know, like, how he died with the Loki situations. There's still so much to tell, but so far... Seeing this makes me want to see what happened with Loki 10 times more, because now we can pretty much presume that that Harold is a good guy, or was a good guy. Even if there maybe were some questionable things here or there potentially, it's just now I think we can say for sure he had, like, a good heart, and so now I need to see the end of this, man. I have to. Ida's Tavern, Elbaf. So is Ida's Tavern the legendary bar from the title? That would make sense. Vohaha, you see? That's the government for you. Let's drink at the castle, Harold. Don't be dumb. I'm not letting a man with a reputation as bad as yours come into the mainland. Your whole nation should be joining up with me. Come on, Harold, give it up. I can't stand seeing you grovel to the government anymore. I also like seeing, like, the transition of Harold's, like, hair and stuff. Like, we've seen him progress through the ages a lot, right? From the first time we saw him till now, and then he still hasn't lost his horns, so... Sooner or later, Elbaf will become a member nation of the world government. Did you think shaving your head was a sign of good faith? Is that a cultural thing you got from somewhere? Garp laughed at me too. Whoa, wait! Did we know that Harold and Garp were boys? Wait. Garp and Harold were boys too? Because, like, when he says Garp laughed at him, that's like... That's not, like, an enemy thing. Like, that feels like they're friends, and Garp talked to him and was like, what'd you do, dude? Oh, wait. Garp, that guy hates the top brass. He'd also be better off as a pirate. We got Rocks talking about Garp, too. Oh, the Garp backdrop. I'm all for it. Dude. It's also interesting that Rox is saying he'd also be better off as a pirate, because in Romance Dawn, right? One of Oda's one-shots, I think it's in Romance Dawn. I always get this part confused, but he had Garp as a pirate originally, and Oda's come out and said that is not, you know, part of this universe in any way, shape, or form. Garp was not a pirate, but he does kind of fit that theme of, you know, hating the top brass, and he could have, I feel like, easily fit in as a pirate. But I don't know. That's cool for Rox to kind of notice that, you know? They're a massive organization. Sure, they have corrupt trash in their ranks, but the Navy's a fine army. The average Marine helps save people on a day-to-day basis. Some of them already come from Elbaf, like John Giant, who was saved by Mother Carmel. If more of our country's warriors followed suit, they could use their boundless strength to really make a difference for people everywhere. Now that's terrifying. So this is actually some pretty cool info to like why everyone wants the Giants on their side. Because we can like generally presume, oh, the Giants are a strong force and having them on your side helps. Like we kind of know that, but you know, we heard from Gunko that whoever the Giants side with is going to greatly impact the outcome of the war. And I think Rock said something similar. And now we got Harold like, well, you know, if the Marines had us, we could go save a bunch of people. It's like, and also Big Mom said she could take over the world with them. Like everybody's been fighting for their strength. And it's kind of cool to see. It's like Harold's deciding what side is best, kind of, right? He thinks the Marines might be the best, which is why he's focused on it, but maybe we'll find out by the end he doesn't think that, which, with what we just saw with the world government, I think he's kind of leaning towards that way, but... why don't you talk some sense into him, Ida? I love the scaling here. Like, look how small Rox is compared to everyone else. I wish I could. If Harold was my son, I'd tell him, you should choose your friends wisely. I know that's like a small line, but there is so much you can take from that because Oda also made that word bubble pop up when it's Haradin and Loki as kids. And I think that's like a lesson that probably Loki and Haradin are going to take into the future where like when it comes to teaming up with Luffy, that's exactly what they need to do. They need to choose their friends wisely. And I wonder if when Loki ends up needing to decide, like, am I going to join Luffy? Am I going to go take over the world? Am I going to join another force? Whatever. I think he's going to think back to this. Like, I bet you Ida probably told him something like this. Because I don't know if he's hearing this conversation right now or not, but I think that is definitely something that he is, that's going to matter later. Hey, don't take shots at me. Ida's such a goat. Also another great character that Oda introduced. Navy headquarters. If a giant were to roll over in their sleep, people could be crushed to death. If one just loses their temper, lives could be lost. Do you really think humans can coexist with such creatures? That's the gist of what they told me. They really said all that? Yep. Oh, bro, whoa. We got all the marine goats of the past here right next to each other. Oh, I love this. Oh man, this is a great chapter. I'm curious who is exactly talking earlier. Maybe I can tell by the font. I don't know. They're fine letting him join the Navy, but that's all, huh? Vice Admiral Garp, Vice Admiral Sengoku, Vice Admiral Otsuru, Admiral Kong, future Commander-in-Chief. So Kong was an admiral at this time. Bro, what is this? Kong's like 5th appearance in the manga or something like that? Ah, I love seeing Kong. Oda did not forget that he exists. Harold is an honest man. Is this Sengoku talking? All right, so if Sengoku's saying that, I trust Sengoku, man. So if he's saying that, he knows. The good guys know that Harold's a real one. He's trying to learn from history and change Elbaf. There's rumors he's being scouted by Rocks. If that's true, the Navy might not be able to stand against them. You make good points, but it is what it is. Damn it, we're really stuck between a rock and a hard place now. This is kind of cool, because they're just kind of talking about the logistics of it. Like, if you have a giant next to humans in the army, there could be accidental damage if he gets mad. I mean, I guess that's kind of accidental, a little more purposeful, but it could lead to excess damage that they don't want. And now they're also like, well, he's also being scouted by Rock, so if we don't work with him, he might join the other side, and then we're cooked. So that's a cool mental dilemma that they're in. And I also like that it's like the good Marines. I mean, we don't really know that much about Kong, but I get the vibe that he's alright. Still, you can't deny their wild and violent track record. That's exactly the kind of strength I'm after, Kong. See, so Garp knew, man. Just hurry and make Elbaf a member nation already. If it were up to me, it wouldn't be an issue. Okay, so now they're also reasoning that they need to make Elbaf a member nation to make this all easier. Like, instead of just bringing more giants in, it might be easier to make Elbaf a member nation to extend an olive branch in a way to where they actually want to work with the government and see them as an ally. This is such a cool, like, geopolitical debate that they're having, I think. 42 years ago, Hachinosu. This is huge. This is really huge. This is big news. Shakuyaku has quit as captain of the Kuja Pirates. What? That means there's no chance we'll run into her at sea anymore. Are they all going to be upset? Yeah, they're all crying. It can't be. I set sail because I dreamed of being attacked by the Shakuyaku Kuja Pirates. Damn it, we've wasted our youth. Shaki-chan. Okay, you know what? Those guys all deserve it. Y'all are the biggest creeps on the seas. Right next to Roger, honestly. You know? But if you set out to sail, like if your only goal was to go find her, that's wild. And also, so this is 2 years after when we saw them last chapter, which means that Shaki took over for Gloriosa within the last 2 years and already quit. And so now is Toritoma already the captain? So was Toritoma captain for like 30 years, basically, or 29 years, because she died 13 years ago? What are you up to, Shaki? So here we already have Gloriosa with the Rocks Pirates. Do you reckon she quit so she could chase after a man like you did, Gloriosa? That's exactly what... Wait, is that... Wait, we got baby Katakuri and baby Oven? And Daifuku probably on the right? Oh, bro, that's cool. Oh, that's sweet. So what? They're like 6 years old right now. Look at baby Katakuri, dude. Oh, that's so cool. Does love always lead to ruin on the Isle of Women? So it's really cool that Big Mom is talking to Gloriosa about this, because, like, Big Mom's kind of the exact opposite. It feels like the Kuja pick one man and they stick with it, and Big Mom's moving on to the next real quick. So it's cool that they're talking about this. Bro, this next line, bro. I swear I didn't read this first. Like you'd know anything about the pain of love. You crank out kids like popcorn? Oh, dude. She's just cooking, Big Mom. That's wild. Anyway, I honestly can't imagine her getting lovesick. I'd never forgive her if she went after Roger. She went after someone else. Very close to Roger. It's always Shaki this and Shaki that. At least you've only got eyes for me, right, Newgate? I've never been in love with you. What did you just say? I'm the popular sensation, Miss Buckin. Ain't that enough? No, I want you. So I like that Oda put all the love stuff into one little section right there. That's kind of cool. No way, something crazy's happening. What's wrong? It's the Kuja Pirates. Huh? They're coming toward the coast. What? In Pirate Island's why is she pulling up? In Pirate Island's history, this incident is said to rank among the greatest, even with all that was yet to come. It's a goddess. I can die happy. Thanks for the ride, Tritoma. This will do. Yes, ma'am. So this is Pirate Island? The arrival of the world's most beautiful idol caused a commotion in this hive of murderous fiends. What brings you here, ma'am? This land is too filthy for you. You mustn't go any further. Tears blur my vision, yet her light still blinds me. Is she real or am I dreaming? So pretty, a knockout, what a babe. Wait a minute, are you joining the Rocks crew like Gloriosa? No, I just want to live here for a while. What? What? Quitting won't matter to the Marines. They'll always be after me since I was a pirate. So I'm gonna hide out here for a while with all of you. You'll protect me, right? Of course we will. This place smells. We'll clean up right away. I want to open a store. We'll build one for you. Let's grow some flowers for her. So damn, she just walked in and just like took over, bro. That's damn. That's kind of crazy for Shaki. Like looking back on it, thinking that she just walked into Pirate Island in Rock's heyday and was like, I'm gonna live here and you all are gonna protect me. So that's the end of it. Like that's some pirate queen type attitude right there. Hey, what's all the noise? Why are you rats making such a racket? The Rocks crew is back. This is bad. Don't blame her, Captain Rocks. This was our doing. What's she doing here? Even Rocks is kind of stunned. The pirate island of Hachinosu was abuzz with excitement. Shaki's rip-off bar had finally opened. They say the wait just to get in would take over a month? Welcome, I'm so happy to see you. You'll be my first customers. Would you like a drink? She's an angel. Even Rocks is freaking out. That's cool. No one's immune except for Luffy and Rayleigh, I guess. Well, for Shaki, just Rayleigh, but Luffy for Boa. You know what I meant. Shakuyaku was like a flower blooming in dry wasteland. Bro, they are building up Shaki so much. Like, this is wild. Her very presence enriched the island. The inhabitants of Hachinosu came to covet her as a treasure, an irreplaceable crown jewel. So now this is answering, I think, a very big question. And I'm just gonna keep reading though, because I think there's probably more on that idea here in a second. Unfortunately, a treasure is always the inevitable target of theft. I just can't open it. I'll give you a hand. This place smells great. Room of Authority. Marijwa. Very well. Relay this to Herald. We shall accept Elbaf's admission into the world government on one condition. The warriors of Elbaf must kill Rocks. That's what it will take for Herald to gain admission? Break next week. Yo. So Shaki is the treasure they're talking about. Shaki got stolen and brought to and honestly, that's interesting because going back to like Ginny or the girl from Sabaody, we know the government, just takes women to be their wives or whatever. And here's Shaki now pretty much getting targeted by the government for probably more reasons than that, but that's probably part of it, I would imagine. But a big part now seems to be the Rocks thing. Like if you go and kidnap her, it's going to pull a lot of the Rocks pirates from Hachinosu and get them over to God Valley in the first place. But the reason we know of, at least that a lot of people went there, was because Ginny said that the fruits were there. But I wonder if that was enough to tip Rocks off, like, well, we're gonna go there and get revenge. Like, yes, we want the fruits, but we need to go get her back. Wow. And it seems like getting her now is just a ploy to get to kill Rocks, basically, right? Like the whole thing was done just to get him. And it part of that idea was to get the Elbaf to join the government. And so maybe they're going to be pitting Harold against Rox. Like, well, hey, if you go and kill your friend, then we'll let you in. And I wonder how Rox is going to respond to that. Like, how Harold's going to respond to that. Did Harold go to God Valley and help take down Rox? Like, was it him, Garp, and Roger teaming up to take down Rox? Like the best Marine. Although, like, at that point in time, was Garp the strongest? Probably. He shouldn't be, I feel like, but he probably was. And then you have the other strongest pirate, probably, or one of them at the time being Roger. And then you're also going to get the strongest giant that probably exists is it being Harold. So it's like they're getting the strongest of these different factions to go team up against Rox, basically. Yo, that's such a crazy twist. Like, I don't know if there was a single theory that said Shacky was the treasure. I don't know if there was a single person saying that. So this is wild. Man, oh, it's crazy that Oda can introduce these things, and we can go make a million theories, and then he brings out a secret other option, you know? I'm kind of shocked. Like, I mean, amazing chapter, but this was so not on my bingo card. I kind of love it though. Even the more I think of it, there's more and more stuff that kind of ties to this. And seeing Harold jump off like that, this was a really good chapter, actually. Wow. So it feels like, even if we don't get the full God Valley confrontation, it feels like this flashback is definitely gonna, hit that point and give us a lot of backdrop, because it just did already. But now I'm wondering, are we gonna get the full God Valley flashback? I hope not, because then One Piece is going just so fast that I'm scared how soon it'll end. But if we do, I mean, it's not gonna be that surprising at this point. Like, we're learning a lot of important information for it. And we're also getting a little bit of like the Marines' perspective of it, which was a big reason I agreed with a lot of people who said that Garp should be the one to kind of tell us about God Valley, because that's like the final piece of the puzzle, for the most part. And that would give us a lot of Marines info, like why they planned this and how scared they were and blah, 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 like all the preparation that was made. But we are getting a little bit of that now anyways. So I don't know, man. Maybe God Valley is on the horizon. Like I said, I kind of hope not, but I wouldn't be shocked. All right, time to get into some super chats here. I'm sure you guys have some great ideas. Let's see. I read RQ's right. I didn't read Bushido's. Member for 29 months. Gold Lion, Silver Axe, Scopper are former Yakuza rivals. So you think Scopper was also a part of that group? I like the... I mean, I think it's already kind of implied that Shiki and Silver Axe were. As for Scopper, I mean, since Oda made a new silver person and a new gold person, well, Shiki's not necessarily that new, but, he built this other leg to that gold, silver, copper thing. I wonder if there's just gonna be a Scopper, like another Scopper. I don't know who... I can't think of anybody in the story. It'd probably be a new person. But maybe he'll introduce a third one that we're going to find out. I mean, it could be Scopper, and Scopper just joined Roger instead, but it would almost be cooler if Oda created a gold, silver, copper thing on both crews. But either way, I definitely agree that Shiki and Silver Axe were on the same crew or same group, same Yakuza, same something. Or they were rivals, one of the two. But definitely cut from the same cloth, for sure. Then you also super chatted 501. Thank you for the extra penny. We still haven't seen any Rocks killing their own members yet. Well, we saw them try, but my Rocks and Garp grew up together and he wanted him to join his Rocks crew stocks going up. Rocks and Garp grew up together and he wanted him to join his crew. I don't know if I'd say the idea that they're on the same crew or like that they were ever that close. I feel like the idea that they have a connection, like they've met and talked, I think has definitely gone up. I don't know about growing up together. Like Like saying Garp, he hates the top brass, he'd be better off as a pirate. Like, that's almost something that you would learn after he kind of becomes a Marine, I would think. Like, once he gets in there and he learns how things are, like, I think that would be, maybe, because, like, you wouldn't, I don't know if Garp would know that he hates the top brass until he gets in, I guess is what I'm saying. So I feel like this is more of a, it's kind of like how Roger and Garp had respect with each other. That's the vibe I'm getting, that Rox and Garp probably fought, and so he kind of respected him too. But probably thought of him kind of positively, like, oh, you know, you're not one of the sleazy ones kind of thing. But I mean, it's possible. I mean, there's nothing countering your theory, but I don't know if the stocks are up necessarily. The stocks aren't down though. They might just be stable for today. Kush Daddy with the member for 19 months. Bummer Silveraxe isn't the musician. Axe equal guitar. Oh, hey, that's actually. Did you say that before? I don't know. I feel like I heard that before, but that was not on my radar. But did we? I'm curious why you say that he isn't the musician. Did we hear this chapter that there was a musician, and did I miss it? Because I don't see, at least I don't remember anybody saying that. Also, my chat's frozen, so give me a second to to pull this up. Firefox was not having it today. It quickly gave up on loading the chat. I haven't seen an update in like 10 minutes. I know there's no way that is accurate. But yeah, did we see somewhere where they mentioned a musician? No, we didn't get anything about it. Well, and then I'm confused. Then couldn't he? We didn't get anything about it in this chapter. So who is the musician? Do we know who the musician is then? I wonder if these guys even have roles in the normal sense. You know what I mean? Like they should, because every pirate crew does, but I feel like Rox also has like a crew of captains. You know what I mean? So it'd be kind of cool if there's a plot line where like none of them are that good at the other things. They don't have one, I believe. Yeah, that's the vibe I'm getting. It's like they all are just good at fighting, and maybe none of them are good at, I don't know. I mean, musician's one thing. That's like Luffy's favorite thing, but you know, cooking or navigating or whatever. I'm getting the vibe that none of them are good at it. Hold on, my chat just got messed up again. What? Okay, there we go. Now I got it. Now we're all good. YouTube is not, you know, YouTube passed the new age verification thing, which I am not a fan of. I am not a supporter in any way, shape, or form of the new age verification thing. But I feel like YouTube is acting a little weird for me. I don't know if the same is going on for you guys, but I mean, now we have the thing. We got my chat is loading weird. I don't know. Major shout out to Knack Talk with the 5 gifted memberships. I appreciate you. Thank you very much, brother. Shout out to Hell Yeah Gaming, Zek Lape. See, this is the problem with the names. Sometimes the names are not as clean as the display names, but it is what it is. Shout out to everyone who just got a membership. And also, if I missed any other membership giftings, please let me know, because I had to refresh the page, and so I don't have that info anymore. So if a member wants to let me know, but I know I got the couple earlier and I just got Knack. So if there were any other gifted memberships, please let me know so I can give you a shout out. But so yeah, Kush, I feel like none of them are probably going to be normal crewmates. Bushido with several super chats in a row. Bushido, bro, thank you very much for your generosity. First one says, narrator, Roger was great, but he's no Rox. Rox, oh, Garp is so great. I wish he'd be a pirate. He would go so far. Roger was a fraud the whole time. I mean, the thing with Roger is that he's like an age behind Rox. You know what I mean? Like he's an era like younger than him, so it's kind of natural that he'd be a little bit weaker. So at least for the Rox part, I kind of get it, because that's kind of what the narrator said. Like, even though the future Pirate King is sailing the seas, this was Rock's era, because it was Roger's era after where he became the strongest and became the Pirate King. But I think it is interesting, like what did they say whenever they were shouting out? Oh, I'm on the wrong chapter now. Whenever they were shouting out his accolades, there was a couple important things there. So they said, and 25 criminal records quietly erased. Rocks was doing some crazy stuff, man. Like, the fact that this guy was so erased to history to the degree that he was, that we didn't hear anything about him till way late in the story, which I know that's kind of Oda just timing things up, but it does kind of go to show, like, the government did not want anybody knowing about this guy, which is just crazy given, like, he ran shit, man. Like, look at these stats, man. What was it? 16 raids, 76 sunken ships. I apologize. 14 ports reduced to ash, 5 towns wiped off the map, 1 nation brought to ruin. And what is Article 18 of international law? Do we know what that actually is? One Piece, unprecedented. Oh, no, I shouldn't look. No, I don't want the actual thing. I want Article 18. I was about to just type the whole box. Article 18 of international law. Do we actually? Is that just a made-up thing? I'm getting results about Article 18 of, like, real life international law, but I don't think we have a One Piece one. I want to know what nation Rocks brought to ruin. I kind of want to know the 5 towns wiped off the map, but those probably aren't going to be as important. I want to know the one nation, and I want to know some of these criminal records that got erased. Like, this guy was crazy. But going back to what you said, yeah, it also did build Garp up too. Which is interesting. Make Garp look better. How old is Garp? Let me look this up. He's 78 now, so he's like the same age as Roger. I think Roger's 1 year younger, because I think he'd be 77 today, if I remember correctly. So it's very close to it. But yeah, I think it just kind of goes to show, like, Rocks was just in a league of his own, man. It was crazy. And then you also said Garp's still not being called Father of Dragon. I mean, I don't know. For me, I think it's just like Luffy's the more important guy. You know, like, Luffy's the main character, so I think it's more just that, personally. But I know you have all sorts of theories about family, that family piece. So I'll leave, you know, not to discount it, but I do think they're just saying Luffy's grandpa because that's the biggest name, right? And I guess it's maybe also for, like, super casual readers. Like, I think 90-something% of One Piece readers would immediately know that regardless of Garp's age, they'd be able to tell who he is and his connection. But maybe some super casual readers who are picking this up after not reading for a while might need that reminder. So I think that's more so why that's there. But hey, I mean, if it, like I always say, if it ends up being true, then you'll get the flowers. Shaki was the stolen treasure of God Valley. 100%. That's definitely it. And TCB used the same word here, the words crown jewel. I don't know if anybody's in the chat who could tell me this for sure, but I know in chapter 1096, they phrased it crown jewel, but it was really just like treasure. It was like takara, like the normal word for treasure. So I wonder if it's the same here and they're just taking the liberty, but the fact they're using the same word at least makes me think that TCB wants us to make the connection back to 1096. So I think that's definitely it for sure. Rapo, welcome back with the 888-pound super chat. What's with the interesting numbers today? We had the 501 earlier. Now we have the 888. Are there any other ones? No, just a couple 499s. Interesting. So with the 888 super chat, Rapo said, "Hello Dax, hi chat. It's been a while. It has. Welcome back, my friend. But One Piece always reunites. It does, and I've said it a million times, and I'll probably say it a million more times, but that's my favorite thing about One Piece, man. Like, the community of it. It's not just the community in the sense of, like, talking about theories and celebrating big moments or whatever, but it's the fact that, like, every week we get to reunite over it. It reminds me a little bit of, like, football or, like, fantasy football, because on Sundays, whenever I used to play fantasy football, because I don't anymore, but when I did, it was like every week I would have a chance to go talk to my friends, like, oh, like, who should I start for this game? What do you think I should do for the Sunday night game? The game's really close. Or I might message them like, oh, you might win, or I'm gonna watch your game tonight. I'm rooting for you. Like, it gave a weekly chance to just reconvene with your friends over a fun hobby. And this is the very same thing, but it's kind of better in a lot of ways. And I know people like football, but it's just One Piece is so deep, and it's just, there's so much to talk about and so many lessons to take from it, and I don't know. It's just such an awesome, and you don't know what you're gonna get every week, right? And it's kind of the same thing for sports. Like maybe you'll have an extra special week of games where there's more to talk about than normal, but One Piece is just, I don't know. It's special, man. It's special. Always getting to come back and reunite's amazing. Let's see. Vasil Vlad Ivanovici with the 10-pound super chat. Welcome, brother. Even though I have to read the @ name, I still know it's you because the @ is @Vasil Vlad Ivanovici 9430. It's like almost one word, but I know it's you, brother. Welcome. I really want to change this @ thing back. It might just be an issue with the new stuff they changed, but to be noted that in old societies like ancient Greece and Persia, slaves had their heads shaven. Interesting, you're right. And it's definitely true in old societies, but I'm pretty sure, sadly, there's still some societies today that do this. Like, even when you get put in prison, sometimes they shave you and stuff. So that is definitely true. Also, could the Hachinosu rock started as Oda's head fish avatar? That's a really cool idea, right? Because Oda's like public avatar, because he doesn't like showing his face really, is like that fish. And that is interesting that now we have a fish as like the main Hachinosu building. That is kind of cool, because that's also like the main part of Pirate Island, and it's like Oda's like maybe loosely kind of portraying himself as like the head of all pirates in a way, which is true because he's the creator of them all in this world. So also shout out Biori for the 5 gifted memberships. I don't know, you've changed your name a few times, Biori, so I'm going to call you that, but I don't know what the display name is, but thank you very much. Also I'm going to go check my so you also sent 5 earlier. I just went and checked the mod messages, and I just got that from Vex. Thank you for telling me, Vex. So thank you, Biori. Also, from your message, Vex, I can see that it also has the @ name for you as well. So hopefully they change that back. I was worried it was just me, like on the creator side of it, but it's showing me that on YouTube and even in Streamlabs. So hopefully YouTube fixes that for sure. And then also I got a message from someone in the know. The word for treasure here, as in like the crown jewel thing, it is Takara again, so it is the same thing as 1096. So and I mean Takara is like the general term for treasure. I'm pretty sure, not that I'm an expert, but I'm pretty sure. So I think that pretty much confirms that is definitely the same thing as 1096, and it is the treasure, which I think we all kind of presume, but it's good that we get the kanji confirmation. So that's cool. That is cool. But yeah, so Vlad, the shaving heads thing's very interesting, because that seemed to be what Harold was kind of going for. Like, it's like he's trying to prove his loyalty in a way, or prove that he's going to be subservient to a degree, because he also just attacked the government, so obviously he's not going to be fully subservient. But that is super interesting. Now I gotta see him getting rid of the horns, though. That's the next stage of this, right? Because it seems like all of the stuff he's doing is building towards that. Like, he's just trying to prove that he wants to be on their side. Harold is quickly turning into one of my favorite characters, maybe of all time. And I'm not going to put him like in my top 10 list yet, or my top 5 list yet, or anything. That's a sacred group. But if Oda finishes his story the way I think, Harold's going to be up there. He's probably going to be in the top. He's going to be in the top 25 for sure. But maybe, I don't know about top 10, but he's getting up there, man. Oda's really cooking. Kuya Pixels, member for 23 months. Solid 9 out of 10 chapter. I do wonder what Harold will do. Harold he's becoming the star of this, man. That's how it feels to me. Like, what decision is he going to make? Is he going against Rocks? Like, Harold's a star, man. Like, Rocks is really cool too, don't get me wrong. I love Rocks. Love Rocks. But I gotta see what Oda's cooking. Bean Boy, member for 28 months. Dude, almost 2.5 years. That's crazy. Thank you, Bean Boy. Shacky's giving me Helen of Troy vibes. That's probably what Oda's going for. I didn't even really think about that. Because, so I'm not an expert, but my vague remembrance of this is that she was just like really beautiful, and that started the Trojan War, right? I believe. So it's similar in that sense, where like they're fighting over this woman, basically. And she got like kidnapped, right? I believe. Again, I'm not a history buff, but she got taken, right? That was part of it. So, yeah. No, that's definitely it. Which that's really cool, honestly. That's a really cool plot line for Oda. Like, and it actually really ties well into the last chapter, right? Because it was called like idols, and like everyone kind of worshipped the Kuja back then. They still kind of do, but it seemed like it was even a bigger deal back then. And so for Oda to give us that chapter and highlight how important they were, and then to bring that forward, and to make them kind of the focus of God Valley, that's very interesting. Shaki of Kuja, exactly. I might have to do a video on this, honestly. Because we have a break now, and I have a couple of videos in the works, but now I'm like, we got a lot of God Valley stuff to talk about. I might do a video. Also, the chapter came out on a Wednesday, so if there was ever a time to do a chapter-focused video, it's probably now, because I got some lead time. So I might have to talk about this, because I feel like there's a lot of stuff to include. And if I do a video, I'm gonna have to bring up Helen of Troy. So, Bean Boy, don't be surprised if I shout out that comment. And then Bushido with the 2 euros. Shaki is John's treasure. Rayleigh beat Buggy to it. That's an interesting idea to tie those things together, but I feel like it doesn't match up well. Where like there was like the treasure map of where the treasure was, and Shaki, was on Sabaody at the time. So I'm not sure how all that would weave together, but that is a cool idea, because it would kind of connect Rayleigh and Buggy even more also. And I always thought there should be a connection between Captain John and Rayleigh, because it's like, because Rayleigh's, Silver's Rayleigh, and then we have Captain John, and there's like Long John Silver, so it's like John and Silver are kind of combined between those two. So I didn't know if Oda was going to build something there, but yeah, it would be a cool way to connect them. But I'm not sure if that works. I mean, it could be that Captain John's treasure is like something that Shaki used to own or something, like a memento, because I don't know what it would be exactly. Probably some that could get really weird really quick, but maybe it's something Shaki related. Maybe it's a picture of her or something. I don't know. Kuya with the $5 super chat. Simp Piece was not in my bingo card, but maybe there's more to Shaki than what's presented. Also, will Harold sell out and turn to the dark side? It's funny, because, like, who is the dark side right now? Between these two, like, is the government bad, or are they the dark side? I mean, I would say so generally, but I don't think that necessarily implies that Rox is the good side, because we just saw it earlier this chapter. We didn't get to the... We don't know enough about it yet, but we saw Rox literally, stealing money from a charity organization. And I know Big Mom's like, yeah, right, if that's true, why hasn't it, been turned over? You were going to keep it, right? But it's like, we don't know enough about it to really judge the situation. Like, if I'm going to choose stealing between a charity organization or, like, a bunch of billionaires, I mean, even if the charity organization's a little shady, I feel like it's better to go after, the objectively bad rich people. So it's just, I don't know if Rox is necessarily a good guy. And we also saw them, it was Shiki, but he tried bombing his friends, and Rox cut down Loki multiple times when he was a kid. So, like, I don't think Rox is necessarily, like, a good dude. Is he maybe better than the government? Probably. But, I'm not super confident saying he's the bright side. So, as far as what Harold's gonna do, I don't know, man. I mean, I feel like Harold needs to be making his own side, is how I feel. Harold currently is the good side. Like, if he were to join either of the current factions, it's not like it would almost be like he's going from good to bad regardless of what side he picks. So I don't know. I don't know what, I feel like he's going to go against Rox, personally. Which will be a little bad from like a hurting your friend perspective. But I also wonder, like, I mean, you hear about Harold, like, not even wanting to take Rox into the castle because he calls him a fugitive and stuff. Like, he's heard the legends. He knows what Rox is doing out there. and he's been hesitant to join this whole time. So I don't know. It also makes me think back to like Shamrock, or was it Killingham or Summers? One of the Gods Knights mentioned to Shamrock, like, oh, are you visiting Harold's grave? And it kind of made me think, like, is like that seems to imply that they're on like good terms, or at least they were at some point. So it makes me think that he would have gone against Rox. But we also never heard of the Giants being in the Reverie, if I remember correctly. So one way or another, this isn't working out probably the way Harold wants, is what I'm thinking. So I don't know. CB Maddie with the $5 super chat. Probably in the minority, but I kind of wish this Loki flashback would be more about Loki and his relationship with his family. Yeah, well, you know, Oda kind of did this with the Odin flashback too, right? Where it's like he uses Loki or the Scabbards or whoever as like an excuse to start it, and then it's just like, let me just go into full flashback piece, you know? And I feel like with this kind of flashback, it's like, other than an actual rock, well, even then, I was going to say, other than a Rox pirate, who would know all this stuff? But even then, I don't think the Rox pirates would really know this stuff that well, because we also got Rox before he had a crew, like whenever he went up to the Holy Land and met Emu. And that's not something that, like, Loki or anyone can really tell us. Maybe Rox could if he was actually alive, So yeah, it is, you know, I really like the Loki family stuff, but we did drift really far from it. But I think what Oda's going to do is loop back to it. So once we get, because like what are we, 42 years in the past? So once we get past, assuming this continues, if we get past God Valley, then I think once we get closer to 14 years ago, that will then tell us exactly what happened, because I think getting this backdrop gives us more context for whatever did happen to Harold, right? Because like if we get exactly what happened with Harold and Loki and all that stuff that day, then I don't think we'll get, then it won't hit as hard as if we knew what Harold kind of struggled through all these years, right? With this Rox thing, and and he's kind of a big part of God Valley. So I guess what I'm basically saying is I hope and I think Oda's going to loop back to the family stuff, because this is just going to make it all better. But yeah, it is no longer the Loki flashback, that's for sure. And I've seen a lot of comments online where people are like joking about how the people around Loki are probably telling him, like, why are we talking about Rox right now? Like, weren't you going to tell us about Harold? But I don't think Loki's saying any of this. This is just Oda's excuse to start the flashback. It's the narrator at this point. But regardless, I hope it loops back to the Loki stuff, because that would make a lot more sense to then end the flashback. Like, if we end the flashback without knowing actually what happened with Loki and his dad and stuff back then like, what was the point, right? Like, because all we got was all of his, like, allies, his other guards, like, stabbing Harold. That's the flashback started, we know Loki got summoned, we saw the stabbing, and that's, like, most of it, right? And then we went to Loki when he was born, which makes a lot of sense. Well, actually, we went even further back, but, you know, we went to Loki being born. So it's like Oda's just giving us all the backdrop before he gives us the actual info. So I agree with you that I want more about the family relationship stuff, but I think we're going to get it. And if we don't, that'll be a huge miss from Oda. But I do think it's going to happen, for sure. Knack Talk, member for 14 months. Like the stream, Knack. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you very much. And thank you for your gifted memberships earlier as well. I know I already shouted them out, but thank you for your generosity as always, my friend. Bean Boy again. Rox is for sure doing work for government officials on the side. That I agree with. I could definitely see that. Well, and I feel like, well, I don't know if we know that for sure, but we kind of know that because, at least in one case, because if you go back to, was it 1155, maybe 1154, let me go down and see. Yeah, so even in 1155, there was this discussion where it's like, he was talking to Harold, and he's like, these days, anyone who gets near Hachinosu gets swarmed by hardened criminals, so we cut a deal with the government. I asked, how much are you going to pay us to take the island back? So once we get the money, we'll take down Pirate Island and split the mountain load of loot between us. And also, we're going to take the island afterward. So he already said he cut a deal with the government. So I agree. I think he's probably doing some secret missions without anybody knowing. So going back to that idea of like, who's the dark side here? Like, who's the bad guy? Who should Harold really side with? I don't think anybody's really a great option. I feel like Harold and Ida have their like their head on straight more than almost anybody. So yeah, I'm with you. Harold was doing some, or not Harold. Well, maybe Harold, but more so Loki was doing some shady stuff, I think. There we go. I got the chat back. Took me a second. I got so many different windows now. I got multiple Firefoxes and Chrome open now. Mr. Bushido with the €2. If Garp was a pirate and got a crew, could he beat Roger? Whew. I feel like that's a 50-50. I feel like they would I feel like they'd be completely even. You know, like I think they'd fight for like 10 days and then they would hit each other and they'd both fall over. It'd be like Luffy and Katakuri, but even more even is how I think of it. Like that's the vibe I get. They're almost the same age. You know, they were rivals in the same era. As far as we know, they never really defeated each other. I mean, Garp, you know, captured Roger, quote unquote, but Roger turned himself in. So I get the vibe that they're like completely even, personally. Let's see, what's the next one here? Debus with the Canadian $7. Oda making the world government like the UN, not letting Scandinavia join, but still stringing them along, saying they'll let them someday. Yeah, there's definitely some real world connotations with what Oda's doing. And if I was Oda, I would lean into that a little bit more. Like, I wouldn't make it overt enough to where, you know, you're making a lot of people upset, but I mean, whether we like it or not, One Piece is a political story. There's a lot of deep historical lessons in it, even lessons you can take into it for current times, because the leaders of current times are using pretty much the same strategies as old times, just with new technology. So I think I think he's aware that a lot of the stuff in Elbaf can touch on a lot of the real world implications, you know. Even going into like, and I mean, this has been a thing in One Piece forever, but going to like the whole idea of like hiding or destructing information. I mean, the Gods Knights pulled up on Elbaf and were like, destroy your library, destroy your schools, right? And like, that's definitely something that a lot of bad governments in the world want to do. They don't want you to learn. They don't want you to know more information, right? And like, Oda keeps leaning into this over and over. So I would not be shocked in any way, shape, or form if Oda, you know, whether it's like that UN thing specifically or just other geopolitical situations in the world, I think Oda's very aware of what he's doing, and I think he's treading in a certain way where he's trying to get the gears turning without being too overt, you know, being too obvious on what he's connecting to. So definitely, man, Oda knows what he's doing. Cloud Lizard with the $10 super chat. I think Harold will do nothing to stop Rocks because he's his friend, and rips off his horns to prove he won't use power like Elbaf's. He then starts schools or pacifism to avoid future manipulation of the Giant's power. So I guess my question is, if he does nothing to stop Rocks, do you think he then does nothing to join the government as well? Like, do you think he says, we're good, we don't need you? Because I think that would be a good outcome. That kind of goes with what I was saying earlier, where like Harold and Ida seem to have their heads on straight. They should just keep doing what they're doing and wait for Nika to show up. Basically, I mean, they should know the legends. Harold probably knows about the Sun God and all that stuff. Why not just make that the plan? Like, wait for and maybe because he thinks Rocks could be that guy. I don't, you know, who knows exactly what he's heard. Especially with Loki thinking that he's going to be the Sun God. There's probably more legends that we haven't heard of. But yeah, I mean, I could see that if Harold does nothing. Like, the thing that I find hard to believe is that he will team up. I don't see him siding with Rocks because he's decided not to this entire time. And then if he has to go against the government, it's kind of like well, the only way I'm getting what I want is if we take down the entire world government, which Harold was just saying how a lot of the Marines are kind of good guys and stuff, so I don't know if he'll want to do that. So I can see him doing nothing, if that's what you're saying, because that makes sense. If I had to pick one, I think he'd be more likely to go against Rocks, because I think he cares about his people and really believes that the Reverie will be a good outcome for them. But I can see what you're saying too, for sure. That would actually be kind of cool. That'd be a really big moment where, like, if the government's like, "What side are you picking?" and he like just says none, and then maybe he rips off his horns as a sign of like, "I don't want to fight anybody. I don't want more death." Like that would be really cool. Like he really leaned into the pacifism. I'd love that. Mr. Bushido, super chatted 208. Okay, 208, 208 euros. Rocks had Mr. Five's Devil Fruit Explosion Fruit. Now what makes you think that? Is it when he swings his sword and has like the ship blow up? We can kind of see the hockey lightning, and like actually it looks like the ship is like warping around it, which makes me think a little bit of the Yami Yami. I don't think he had the Yami Yami, and this wouldn't be it anyway, but it looks like the ship is kind of warping around it, right? But I'm curious what other evidence you see that where Rocks might have Mr. Five's fruit of all the fruits. I feel like that's so random, but I don't know. Maybe I missed something. Time Lord member for 15 months. Well, it says Time Lord now. I don't know if it was Brandon King. It is Brandon King, but I don't know. I don't know what you prefer now. The ads are just throwing me off. 15 months. Also glad to see Kong. Want more from him, dude. I like Kong. I know Kong is the focus of all the memes, and probably deservedly so, because Kong is just Kong's Kong. I mean, he appeared almost as much in this chapter as he has the rest of the story. We saw him twice. He was in 2 different panels, but one sitting. But regardless, that's a lot of panels for Kong. So yeah, I was pumped too, man. And I mean, it makes sense that he was an admiral. I don't know if we actually knew that or not, but it does make sense. Like in 1096, did it say he was an admiral? I'm not sure, but it also is weird that Kong is an admiral and he's calling in Garp like, "Hey, Roger's going to God Valley. Stop your vacation." It's like, Kong, why don't you go clock in? What are you doing calling your employee to go take care of this while they're on vacation, Kong? That's actually my biggest issue with Kong. You know, people want to make fun of Kong for being irrelevant, for doing nothing, whatever, right? Being commander-in-chief and barely being seen. I'm more mad about him calling his employee on his day off. I'm gonna be honest with you. Kong's in the mud for that. That's crazy. Unless Garp was getting paid like double or something, but I don't even know if Garp cares, so I don't know. And also at Cloud Lizard, I saw you said these ads are crazy. I'm K Raven. I do know that because I know you had Cloud. I think it was for one of the giveaways. You had Cloud Lizard, and we made that connection. But yeah, the ads are throwing me off, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I think I know you guys well enough to remember, but bro, YouTube, you got to fix this. Also, Joyboy511, I saw you in the chat. I don't know if you watched the recent Redacted video, but I brought up your comment about Kuzan. I saved that, and I forget what Laz said. I released that review really late, but Laz said something, and it immediately connected to your Kuzan comment, and I brought that back out. So I don't know if you watched, but I did make sure to show your comment, because that's such a good idea. But also, I'll read the rest of the super chats in a second, but since I brought you up, you said, do you think the second fruit that Rocks needed is the Love fruit? Blackbeard wanted it too, and maybe he wanted to give it to Shaki. That's an interesting idea. I could see that. I think that works. And I also am very, very much a believer that the Love fruit was one of the 6 on God Valley, because we know the government had it later when they gave it to Boa. So how would they have gotten it? Well, maybe it was one of the prizes at God Valley, and that might have connected all. So I'm actually, I think that makes a lot of sense, because like you said, Blackbeard was looking for it. And also we have the Seraphim now, where one of the Seraphim has that fruit power, coincidentally. So I think Blackbeard is probably going to get control of S-Snake and use those powers somehow. So I'm fully on board, for sure. Biori51, member for 9 months. Let me consult my orb. Well, Biori, you know, my name in the Discord is Dak Sake Orb Destroyer. So, and I haven't changed it yet. So better consult the orb now before I get my hands on it, because we don't. Who knows how long the orb will last? In my presence specifically, I I am Death, the destroyer of orbs in the Discord. And then we got Kuya with a $2. Could Kong's full name be Monkey Donkey Kong? Well, you know, Kuya, that is a great segue to something that I wanted to say, which is I'm playing DK Bonanza on Twitch, and so if you guys want to follow along with my DK Bonanza playthrough, I'm still pretty much at the beginning. I got the first Bonanza power up, whatever it is, whatever Donkey Kong transforms. So if you guys want to watch that, go follow on Twitch. I was playing yesterday for like an hour. I'll probably be playing again maybe tonight, definitely tomorrow. Now that I read the chapter, I was kind of worried about getting spoiled, but I got the capture card set up. I got everything set up. I got multiple games to play through, so we're going to be gaming a lot more, and that's an actual promise that I will not fall back or not do. I don't know what I was going to say, but because I said I was going to game a lot, but now it's actually happening. And I also got the expansion pass, so I want to play some like Super Mario Strikers online. I think that'd be really fun to play you guys in like old games, because a lot of like the GameCube games and stuff you can actually play online on the Switch now, which is crazy. So yeah, that was a great segue, Kuya. I know you did it on purpose. But as for Kong's full name, it is weird that like Garp is Monkey D. Garp, you know, and the main character is Monkey D. Luffy. Like Monkey is in that name, and then we have Kong, which makes you think of monkeys right away. So, I don't know. You know, it wouldn't shock me, honestly, if Kong's family name was Monkey as well. And, like, I don't know if he'd be Garp's dad, like Luffy's great-grandpa, but maybe he's, like an uncle, you know? Like, they don't have to be direct descendants. But that's almost, like, too on the nose, so I hope Oda doesn't do it. But I wouldn't be shocked, to be honest with you. And then the D is for donkey, so it makes perfect sense. Rapo, you said some main people are missing from the chat. Where are they? Honestly, I think part of it's that we're on a Wednesday afternoon and nobody was prepped for the chapter. You know what I mean? Kuya, you said no, Dak is still anti-orb. Hey, until I get my own orb, until I have my own and I'm, you know, I have a reason to be pro-orb, I'm anti-orb. Rapo, you said any Discord link? I believe in the description there should be. And that link should work. If it doesn't, let me know. That link is like years old, but I definitely, whenever I set it up, I hit the, because like it can expire after a certain time period, and I definitely did the forever one, so it should still work, but just let me know if it doesn't work. Gigi Sama Biori, I'll get you an orb, Dak. All right. I'll do a unboxing stream if you get me an orb. Because I mean, without an orb, you know, why would I be an orb supporter? I need a reason. One Piece Sage, you said Sanji is getting Conqueror's Haki. I completely agree with you, 100%. I would actually be floored if Sanji didn't get it. And I think I saw this really good theory on Reddit. It was so good that I was like, oh, I should do a video on this because I can really build on this. And like I would have shouted him out. I tried not to, you know, just take him, but I did. But I couldn't. I thought that would get revealed sooner, so that's why I didn't do a video. But regardless, I guess I'll just shout out that person's idea here. I don't remember their name on Reddit, but you can probably find it. But they basically were talking about how Sanji didn't really have a reaction to when Scopper was like, remember how Scopper said that Zoro had Conqueror's Haki and it's like oozing out of him, and then Sanji said, oh, what about me? And then he didn't really react. Or, well, he did. He was like kind of shocked, but then we didn't hear anything. I thought that was interesting because that's kind of telling, like, if Scopper said that Sanji had Conqueror's Haki, he'd be gloating afterward. He'd be like, oh, yeah, Zoro, look, I have it too, whatever. And then if Scopper said he didn't have it, then I think Sanji would be, like, distraught. He'd be really sad. So it's like, what's going to put Sanji into a middle ground where he's not going to have a whole lot to say? Well, what this person's comment said was basically, what if Scopper told Sanji, I don't detect any Haki whatsoever on you? Like, not just Conquerors, but I can't detect a single ounce of Haki in your body, period. Because as far as Sanji's reaction, that would be like a kind of like a weird thing to say, because Sanji would know, well, I definitely have Haki, so that's, I don't know how that makes sense. So it would be like confusing for him. Like, he wouldn't be upset or happy, because it's just confusing. So it might explain why he didn't really say much. And then you might ask, well, what does that mean? Like, Sanji not having haki at all, why does that make sense? Well, he's like a stealth guy, right? He wants to be invisible. What if he's constantly suppressing his haki and we don't even know it? And so whenever, because like with Zoro, they said, oh, it's oozing out of you. It's coming from everywhere. Well, shouldn't Sanji be the opposite? Shouldn't Sanji be the guy where you can't detect it at all, even if he has conquerors? And this could also maybe tie to his Germa stuff, because maybe he's not like a normal human, so maybe it's like harder to detect for that reason. But if he wants to be like a stealth guy, be invisible, well, if you can detect someone's haki, it's ruined, right? So I think that's what he's learning, is like he's really, really good at hiding it. So even Scopper couldn't detect it, which is going to make it really impressive later when Sanji does have it. And they're like, wait, where was this? What? How? And it's just, that's what makes Sanji the GOAT. So I think that is, like I said, I wanted to do a video on it, because it hits so hard. Like, I feel like that's exactly what's happening. Like, whenever I read that, I was like, this person is reading Oda's notes, because that builds on the character theming of it, where, you know, Zoro shows his strength in spades all the time. He wants to impress people. He's working out, whatever. Sanji's doing it like in more sneaky ways. Also, like the Mr. Prince thing, he's a sneaky guy. It fits so perfectly, man. Time Lord, you said baby Katakuri looks like a Labubu doll. That's actually pretty funny. Yeah, like Katakuri, like, yeah, he's got like X's for eyes, it looks like. I'm gonna see if I can zoom in. Zooming in on TCB is always a little iffy for some. Yeah, oh, that's working. Oh, now it's not. Yeah, he's got like X's for eyes. He's like, I also love Oven here, man. I don't know why. And what I love the most about this scene is that Oda put Daifuku over in the corner, like halfway cut off by the by the bar for like no reason. Because, like, let's be honest, nobody cares about Daifuku. I mean, maybe there's some Daifuku fans out there, and if there are, more power to you. But he's kind of the outcast of the three, I feel like. Like, Katakuri's probably the favorite. And then Oven just had a lot more action in the arc, right? Boiling the water and all that stuff. And he has, like, a little bit more of a memorable design, I would say, with his hair color and, like, his hair shape. But Daifuku's kind of like the outcast of those triplets. And he's just over here, like, people probably barely notice the guy. Vex, you said, I think it'd be sick if the Straw Hats had an observation killer. Yeah, me too. Like, and it's funny because whenever we heard about that, like in regards to Shanks, it feels like that was meant in the sense of like you're using your Conqueror's haki to kind of mess with them directly so they can't use observation anymore. But it's like Sanji is kind of tackling that in the opposite way, if that theory is true. Because it's like he's not even letting you activate it. Like, it's not that he's over, like, you know, he's imposing his will on you. It's just he's so good at hiding it. But like you're talking about, regardless, I think it would be cool if the Straw Hats had a literal observation killer so that they could kind of do that. Like, because Sanji can do it himself because that's his own thing. But if they wanted everyone else to sneak in without getting detected somewhere, then they might need someone to be able to do that. So I feel like Luffy would make the most sense. Because that's like, I mean, if Shanks can do it, if we've heard about it, you know, in context of Shanks, feels like Luffy should probably figure it out. And then, you know, Zoro might be another good candidate because his Conqueror's haki's already kind of developed, but he's like not observation focused. So I feel like him canceling observation should be like, if he ever gets it, that should be like a very end game thing in my mind. So I think Luffy should figure that out next, and then the other Straw Hats will follow suit, is how I think about it. Will of Dreams, his genie cares. You're right. You're right. But you know what? That genie can't even voice his opinion if Daifuku's not rubbing his stomach, which is, it's kind of a big fault to the power, right? Like, if you lost your arm, would that fruit just be useless at that point? Like, I feel like Oda would find a way to make it work. Like, maybe you rub your foot. Like, I don't even know how that would work, but I don't know. But And then Jonathan, NG Pianist, you said, no, I am one big Daifuku fan. Dude, that's actually awesome, because I love it when people like the side characters. But I think you can recognize that across the wider community, Daifuku is in third place of those triplets, I would argue. But I mean, he's better than a lot of Big Mom's kids. I can't even name not even half. I can't name 80% of Big Mom's kids. It's not even like, I love One Piece. I know way too much. Like, my brain is half One Piece, I feel like, at this point. And I'm not even willing to add more folds to my brain to remember the rest of her kids. But I do remember Daifuku, so he's not that bad, for sure. Kuya, you said use his foot, I guess. Yeah, I mean, dude's gonna have to get hella flexible. Rapo, you said, do we know what the time gaps are between the 3 worlds we saw in the mural? We don't, but my personal understanding is that they're all directly sequential. Like, right when the first world ends, the second world begins, and then as soon as the second world ends, the third world begins. Like, I think it's all one complete timeline, if that's what you're asking, because you said the time gaps between them. So I don't think there is a time gap. But then if you're more so asking, like, when the end and beginnings were, that's kind of left up to interpretation. Personally, I think the second world just is the Void Century. So the first world ended at the start of the Void Century, and then the third world began at the end of the Void Century. Or yeah. So beginning and end are the bookends of that. But that's just kind of my take. I don't know if everybody agrees, but I think that's also the easiest. And there are some reasons with the text that I think line up with that, but I think that's the easiest explanation. Like the first world is just all the world's history before the Void Century. The second world is this specific 100-year gap that they took over and they're erasing the history, and then the third world's everything since. I think that makes sense, but we don't actually know though. D, I am done reading the chapter. Yes, I am. We're just talking now. I got through all the super chats, so we're just hanging out for a little bit. I'll be here for another 20 minutes at least, 30 minutes maybe. I mean, this chapter was kind of crazy, so if you guys got any theories, definitely throw them in the chat. And like I said, I will have a couple videos out over the break. One guaranteed, probably 2. I don't know if I'll do one on the chapter or not. I'm going to decide tonight, but I think I will, because now there's a lot to talk about with God Valley now, so I might, but... Rapo, you said, thank you, Dak. You never let down. Oh, bro, I appreciate that. You guys never let me down either. It's amazing that I get on here and, like, this is I think I've said it a million times, but this is my favorite thing to do. Like, if YouTube told me I can only do one form of content, I would definitely keep the live reactions. And this is why right here, just getting to talk about the chapter with, like, fresh new theories, right? As soon as we get all this new info, it's like that's the chance to talk about theories or just cool analytical stuff or things that connect to the past that we haven't made. This is my favorite part, so. Cheese Wheel, you did miss the reaction. You did, unfortunately, but hey, we're still here to talk for a little while, so. If you got any thoughts, let me know. You said this was another hype one for sure. Absolutely. We know what the Treasure of Hachinosu was now, right? And it's something that nobody expected. I was saying it was the Devil Fruits, which the Devil Fruits are obviously still a major part in the whole thing, but now we know that the actual treasure that was taken that they were referring to is Shaki, which is just wild. And it's also crazy that she started the ripoff bar here on Hachinosu, and now, we were in one during Sabaody, and, like, little did we know how important Shaki and her bars are, right? Man. And it's crazy, because earlier this chapter, or the title of the chapter is The Legendary Bar. And so whenever we got to Ida's bar and I saw Harold and Rox talking, I'm like, okay, so Ida's bar is the legendary bar. Nope. Shaki's, which is just wild. And I love how Oda has this, like, cool bartender theme going, right? Like, because we have Shaki as the bartender, and she's really, really important. Ida as the bartender, and she's really, really important. We can't forget Makino, obviously one of the goats. Luffy's got to go pay off his tab at some point. She may have Shanks' kid. I think I'm sure in Vegas that's what the safe odds are, is that that's Shanks' kid, so she's really important. And actually, I don't know if I said this 2 weeks ago, but I think that the Tritoma situation is definitely Shanks. Like, because she died 13 years ago, so people have been saying, like, oh, what if that's because Luffy got separated from her, and so she died because, you know, she was so sad about the situation. And I get why people say that, but if we're going to argue that Luffy fits that time frame, then what also fits that time frame is Shanks meeting Makino. And so I'm wondering if Tritoma liked Shanks, and then Shanks got with Makino, and then that's why she got the love sickness, because she realized that she was never going to actually get to marry him. And I think that fits even better, personally. I also really don't want Luffy's mom to die from just like being separated from him, because yes, it might be that she loved him that much and that's the story, but like part of Luffy's lesson is like you're always fighting for those people. Like even if the person died, you got to keep going and carrying out their will and stuff. So I hope that Oda doesn't do that. Like I think Luffy's mom's definitely dead, but I hope that's not the reasoning. So anyway, going back to the important bartender of it all, I think Makino could maybe tangentially be responsible for Tritoma's death. Basically is where I was going. Smooth Coca-Cola, you said she wanted practice learning how to have a bar with pirates. True. Because like Sabaody, that's where a lot of the pirates go, right? Like, because you got to go. And also Rayleigh's the ship coder, so it's like you're gonna get a lot of important pirates, you know, talking to you, like coming in asking for you know, for ship coding or just visiting the bar or whatever. You're gonna see all the rookies as they come through. So that's a cool point, actually. Narrator 6896, member for 1 month. Kobe will be known as a hero for murking the Pirate King. I actually agree with you. And so Chris. So I've had someone, because now YouTube changed the at name thing, so I'm confused. Because I've had someone named Narrator come in and give some super chats before. Are you that Narrator, or are you a different one? Because now I'm so confused. And Narrator's a common enough name where multiple people could realistically use that, so I'm not sure. So I don't know. But your name's Chris, and I remember Chris from last time, so I think you're just Chris. Because it also says member for 1 month, so I'm just getting confused on who everybody is at this point. YouTube cooked me completely. So I don't know if maybe Narrator and Chris were. So okay, so the narrator from before and Chris are the same person. Got it. Okay, now it makes sense. See, I'm getting thrown for a whole loop here. But either way, I agree with you, Narrator / Chris. I'm gonna call you Narrator just because it says at Narrator, and I'm gonna forget Chris at some point because it doesn't say it now. But I agree with you. Now, will Kobe actually defeat him? That's always my caveat, where I don't think Kobe's literally going to defeat him in a legit one-on-one situation. But will he get the credit for it? Yes, that's what I think. Because every time we've seen Kobe and Luffy fight, even as Kobe's growing, Luffy quickly shows, I'm still a level above you. I'm still a level above you. And yes, Kobe's growing very, very quickly, but I don't think there's a whole lot of people who would feel good if Kobe actually defeated Luffy in like a true one-on-one fight. But if it's a situation where Luffy's like already defeated and Kobe walks up and finishes him, not like kills him, but captures him there, I think that could work. Or if Luffy fakes it, whatever. But either way, I do think Kobe will get the credit for it and will probably get a promotion and probably get heralded as like the next great hero and all that stuff. So I think that's a guarantee. I would almost say I would put that on that level. Is it an actual guarantee? You know, nothing is in One Piece, but I think it's pretty close, because Kobe's got to have a really powerful role going forward. And, you know, a lot of people say that he's going to go and get revenge on Kuzan or go save Garp, and I think those could be cool. But then Kobe's whole story is just about Marines, pretty much. Like I know Kuzan's a pirate now, but he's an ex-Marine, and a lot of people think he's maybe a traitor anyway. So it's like Kobe's got to have a pirate focus at some point, which is why I love that Oda's tied him to Blackbeard so much. But him, you know, capturing Luffy or getting credit for it, like I said, I think it should happen. It should. Let's see. D, you said, how old's Dragon? I'm curious if he's older than Tritoma, Luffy's mom, quote unquote. He, well, we don't know her exact age, I don't think, but she was 15-ish whenever we saw her in the last flashback, so she'd probably be about 17 now. So that, which would make sense. So she probably took over around the time she was 18, because that's when Boa took over. So she's probably 18-ish at this point. So she would be 60 today, but she died 13 years ago. So she would be 5 years older than Dragon. But yeah, I'm almost convinced that Tritoma is not Luffy's mom, though. Like, I think Oda would he would have to move some mountains to make that make sense in my mind at this point. And the fact she was introduced in an SBS doesn't do him any favors, or yeah, doesn't do Oda any favors, do her any favors in terms of her being Luffy's mom personally. I know a lot of people like that theory though, but I think when we see Luffy's mom, I don't think she's going to get revealed in an SBS or be carrying fan mail for someone else. I think she's going to be like a really important person, personally. Croco Mom, Chads, it's never over. Tall for Life says, Croco Mom theory will never die. Even when we find out who Luffy's mom is, people will just say Crocodile got cloned or something. You know what I mean? Blackman Who Laughs, you said, I think Kobe defeats Buggy. I can see that too. It's like, the problem with him defeating Buggy right now is like that would kind of imply he's taking down the Cross Guild, because like if you defeat the captain, I mean, it doesn't mean that the crew is like done for, but that's kind of what you would expect. Like if the captain's actually going to lose, then that means the whole crew is going to lose. And I don't know if we're at that point yet, so I don't know how exactly Oda is going to weave that together, but I can see Kobe and Buggy having an altercation at some point. I think that would be cool, especially if Garp gets sold to the Cross Guild, because then Kobe has a reason to go after Buggy. So I think that is the most natural way to weave it together. Because like, if Kobe were to go right back to Hachinosu to go get Garp again, I mean, we're just redoing the plot line we just had, but the shoe's on the other foot. And I don't think Oda's gonna do that again. And also, part of the lesson that Garp told Kobe was like, don't save the old man, right? Like if you can save a child, an old man, or if you can save two people and you're debating between a child, an old man, and yourself, who are you choosing? And Garp's like, take the child and yourself, leave the old man behind. So I don't think he even wants Kobe to come save him. But if Oda has Garp get transferred to the Cross Guild, then I think that opens the door for Kobe to get more involved, because we already have seen Sengoku wants to go after the Cross Guild. Like the Marines are worried about them in general. So then that becomes more of a natural Marine enemy in my mind. So we'll see. We'll see. Rapo, you said, Dax, are you cooking something for us this 2-week break? Definitely, definitely. So I have a video on all the cover stories that I want to get out during this break week. It'll probably be more towards the end of the break week, because that'll be... I try to not drop theory-laden stuff too close to the next chapter, because it might get debunked quickly. So I think if I get anything out that's related to rocks or this stuff, it'll be very soon. But I do want to get a cover story video out, which is going to be really long. It's a lot longer than I thought. We're approaching over an hour. But I go through every single cover story in detail. Not too much detail, but enough detail. I bring up like a few theories here and there, but so that video will be out. Like I said, it's pretty long. You guys can skip through to the sections you want if you choose to, because I will put the timestamps in there, because I imagine some people won't be as inclined to hear about Django's story or Buggy's, because those were a lot earlier, or even Kobe's, because Kobe's and Buggy's were animated. But anyway, it's a lot there for people to watch, so that one will be good. I'm also doing a video. Well, I got a couple different videos, I guess, but I got one that's a theory from the community that I've been working on. I don't know if that'll be out over the break yet or not, but that one I really want to unleash at some point, because it's such a cool theory. But I feel like I have a lot of time for it, so we'll see. But yeah, I got a couple of videos, and there will be a redacted video on this too. I don't know who the guest is. I want to be better about getting ahead on that, but the breaks have really messed up my whole schedule here. But I'll get somebody on for that chapter. So yeah, there'll be some videos, also some shorts too. I have a couple shorts that are done and edited and actually uploaded. I just haven't made them public, so I'll be releasing those as well. Um, Also, Tiny Angry Gnome. I don't know if you're still in the chat or not, but I saw twice now that I got a notification from you about a message, and then I clicked it and the message was gone. So if you had a theory, let me know. I don't know what I'm missing, but I did see that, and every time I clicked, it was already gone. But let me know. Let me know. Narrator with the $5 super chat. KKL, if you know, you know. But nah, Kobe not actually beating Luffy. Sorry, didn't mean to derail. Just got to push the propaganda. Dude, Kobe propaganda is fully welcome on this channel, by the way. I was actually talking to my neighbor about this randomly. This is actually kind of cool. So after, I think it was the last chapter. Yeah, because it was a little bit later in the day. I had to go stop over my neighbors because this happens all the time. But people, like my neighbor and I have very similar addresses. It's just one number is different. So I get a lot of her deliveries. So I have to go over there. And she doesn't know anything about One Piece, but she knows about the pirates, quote unquote. So every time I talk to her, she'll say like, "How are the pirates doing?" And I'll just give her like a funny answer because she doesn't really know much. But she started asking me like a few other questions like, well, what is this story about? Like, who's the main character? Like, why do you like it so much? Like, she actually started asking some questions about it. She's like kind of an older woman, but she's really cool. And I started telling her, and I was like, well, and I didn't want to, give some big spoilers. So I told her like, well, one of the reasons it appeals to me is because at the very start of the story, the main character meets this guy named Kobe, and he tells him his dream, and Kobe says that dream's crazy, and Luffy's like, well, it is, but if I die trying, well, at least I'm aiming for my dream. And I thought that was like a really cool message. And she was like, we got to talking about it, and she liked it too. And so, long story short, Kobe propaganda is welcome because I'm giving Kobe propaganda to my neighbor. I think I even told her that the guy's name is Kobe. We call him the Pink Mamba for Kobe Bryant. She thought that was funny. So yeah, we welcome Kobe propaganda for sure. Please push it all you want. And I'm glad you see the light that like Kobe's not actually gonna win, but like there's a reason why Kobe said, "I'm Luffy, I need to stop you." Like there's a plot line coming with Kobe and Luffy that is gonna matter a lot, right? Kobe is Luffy's Garp, right? Because a lot of us thought that Smoker would be Luffy's Garp, and maybe for a little bit he was. But I almost feel like Smoker was Luffy's Garp until Kobe got stronger, and now Kobe's meant to fill that void. So, as Kobe gets stronger and stronger, he's gonna have more of a role to play for sure. For sure. Debus with the Canadian 279. What do you think of them Gege Gorosei cards? So sick. Oh, dude, I'm so glad you brought these up. So, if you guys haven't heard, Gege Akutami, right? Is that how you say his last name? The author of JJK, he drew some One Piece cards. And I think he drew the Gorosei, if I remember. Yeah, that's what you said. I don't know if he drew any more, but they're kind of sick. I'm going to see if I can pull them up real quick. We always have to play this game with the WebP files. Give me a second. It's not a WebP. Oh, it's still. Oh, come on. Yeah, there we go. Well, you guys can't see me, but that's okay. So these are the Gorosei cards, which are pretty sick. I don't know if you guys are into the TCG or not. Here, I will try to make it so you can see me a little bit, but the cards, there we go. Okay, whatever. Now you can see me. Yeah, these are pretty sick, man. So you got the Jupiter over here. And you can kind of see the JJK art style in these, which is pretty sick. Saturn over here looks... Saturn might be my favorite one. I mean, honestly, this is gonna be really... It's gonna go against all my agendas, but the Topman one looks kind of sick. Like that... I think that might be the best setup of them all. I don't know. I really like the Saturn one just because of the eye. The eye makes it really ominous, but those are some sick cards. And isn't there an Emu card now, if I remember correctly? I'm pretty sure there's an Emu card. Which, that's just like... I don't know. What does it look like? I know I saw some like funny posts about it, but I don't even know if I've seen the actual card. Have we seen it, or do we just know that it's coming? I don't know. But is Emu like good? Like, are the Gorosei good in the game? Because I know they released the he laughed card for Roger, and that one's supposed to like be OP. It's supposed to be like break the whole game. At least I read a video, or not read a video, but watched a video about it. There are 2 arts for the emu card. Oh my god. Okay, here I found it. Okay. Oh, those are kind of sick. I don't know enough about the game to say, you know, how broken they are or not, but is this? I don't think that one's real, but it's just Emu's eye, right? And then there's also one with Emu and the flowers. I can't find a good version to pull up for you guys. They're all like kind of blurry because Facebook does this thing, and Instagram does it too, which they're owned by the same company. Where if you find an image on a Google search result from one of those websites, the Google result will give you a very grainy version of it. So then you're forced to actually open up Facebook or Instagram to get a clean picture of that you're trying to show, which is like they're just trying to get you onto the app even for a second, which I hate that. But that is pretty sick. Narrator with a $5 super chat. With emphasis of Galley Law, rising tides, Ice Boy making Water 7 into a floating island, will Aqua Laguna be significant again? You know, that's a really interesting point, because I want to say yes, but I don't know if the timeline does us any favors, because Aqua Laguna happens every year, and so we saw that already happen in the pre-time skip, and then pretty soon after that, like a couple weeks or a month after that, we started 3D2Y, and that was said to be 2 years. And so if we assume that that was actually 2 exact years and not like 1.8 years or something, then that means that Aqua Laguna happened like a month ago or 2 months ago in One Piece time. So I don't think we would get Aqua Laguna again. But Oda could do a lot of things to just flip that on its head, like maybe he makes the time work, or maybe if time moves slower in Elbaf, maybe we'll advance enough time into the future where we get closer to it. Like, that stuff's kind of hard to believe because that's like so much time has to go by. Maybe these other floods and Lulusia blasts and earthquakes and stuff, maybe that'll trigger an early Aqua Laguna, which I think is probably the easiest way to do it. So I'm not sure if Aqua Laguna will matter again, honestly. But I do think all that other stuff you mentioned is going to matter. And isn't it weird that like Oda named Iceberg, and now we're learning that the Gale Ra giants were frozen. And if you think about it, all the other, like a lot of other giants we've met were frozen. Like Saul was obviously frozen, Ors was frozen, and Ors might have even been in Gale Ra because he's old enough to be alive in the Void Century. And as I said in my last video, his name is Ors, like the oars for a ship. I feel like it's almost guaranteed he was in Gale Ra personally. And like Laz mentioned in my redacted video, what I think Oda's doing is that Ors froze to death while looking for his other frozen friends. I think he heard Gale Ra froze, and he's like, oh, well, let me go find him. And that's why he froze to death, that's why he was in a frozen wasteland back then. Like, I think we kind of presumed that he was just like dumb or got trapped in there, like, you know, whatever. Like he maybe ran out of food. I don't know. Like a number of things that got him trapped in a frozen wasteland that made him freeze to death. But if it's because he was trekking through there looking for his friends and ended up freezing to death while looking for them, that's going to be a big emotional appeal. And it just adds to the Gale Ra lore. So for me, I feel like that's super likely. Then narrator, you get another super chat. Thank you for your generosity, brother. Riding it up to Marijois, or from Marijois to Longring Longland, where there's a swell, there's a shrink. Super tide from Moon Convergence. Well, I think you sent that right as I started saying that Aqua Laguna might not happen, but I think that what you're talking about, whether it's Aqua Laguna or not, is still very, very possible. Because, well, for one thing, if the world floods enough, that's a problem that I think Marijois maybe hasn't thought about. Where if you increase the sea level enough to where it starts climbing up the red line, you're making Marijois a lot more accessible to people. And they're probably banking on the fact that everyone will drown before that happens, which is not... probably a smart plan. You know, they've been through this before, so they probably know. But
we also know that that's probably not how it's going to work. If they flood the world, we're going to find a way. So, so whether it's Aqua Laguna or another flood, I think what you're talking about could definitely happen. Or even if like there's enough, earthquakes or climatic events going on that are causing like tsunamis, and they can just ride a tsunami up there. Either way, I think like that's probably what's going to happen is we're going to ride up to Marijwa on a wave of some sort because of the rising sea level, like turn it against them, right? But my favorite idea is that we mirror what we got from Marineford, where remember how Whitebeard actually showed up by hiding underwater, like he coded his ships and then popped up out of nowhere and surprised them. Well, you got to remember, Whitebeard's ships were based off of whales, right? It was the Moby Dick. They looked like whales. And we also know that there are whales in One Piece that we have befriended called island whales, which can hold people inside. So what if we just have the island whales do a surprise attack for us? We all hide in the island whales. They all think the world's flooded. And then we just sneak up out of nowhere with all of our whale friends. And we're like, dude, too bad, you're cooked. That's the ending I want. Or at least the beginning of the ending I want is Whale Piece. Could you imagine Laboon pulling up? Because the thing about Laboon pulling up is he already has the Jolly Roger painted on him. So it's like he's already our ship. So if we were in Laboon pulling up on Marijwa and Laboon, comes out of the water and they're like, wait, what's this whale doing? Wait, it has the Straw Hat logo. Wait, the Straw Hats are inside. What's happening? That's what I want. That would just be, I don't know, man. I'd probably cry if I saw Laboon balling out like that. And another thing is that if they're inside of an island whale, or inside of any living creature really, then observation haki does not work to find other living things inside. We've seen this through Nola in Skypiea, where Enel couldn't detect Isa or Luffy or anyone that was inside the snake, and likewise, Isa couldn't detect anybody outside the snake. And then even in Egghead, we heard the Gorosei trying to detect all living beings on the island and just taking out every snail, but they couldn't find the one they really needed because it was inside Emeth, who, as we learned, is or was technically alive. It's kind of confusing. But I think that was maybe part of Vegapunk's plan, is like it's harder to find that thing inside of another living being, even if it's like questionably alive. So if we all hid in island whales and snuck up, they would have no idea we're coming. So I think that's what's going on for sure. My guy, Vex the Lurking Legend with the $5 super chat. Brother, thank you so much. You said Emu card can trash other celestial dragons to draw a card. Heavy foreshadowing. Heavy foreshadowing. Kind of goes hand in hand with the theory. You're saying it right here. Kind of goes hand in hand with the theory that celestial dragons are like chess pieces or batteries for Emu's powers. Bro, TCG is leaking too much, man. Nah. They're leaking too much. They just gave the game away. And if you guys think that the TCG would not reveal something like that, well, I would agree that the TCG, they're not going to be told the future of the story. Like, they're not going to be told, these are Emu's powers, make a card based off it. But I do think, whenever they do this, they probably tell Oda, hey, is this okay? And then Oda probably confirms it or not. So there's at least that layer of it. But the TCG actually revealed the Cross Guild's Jolly Roger. That was the first place we saw it. So I don't know, man. That maybe they are foreshadowing. Maybe they might know a thing or two. Because I think what they probably do is they probably think of like a few different versions of Emu, and then they probably pass it over to Oda, and then he will confirm it. Like maybe he'll pick one of the three. I don't know this for sure, but especially when you're talking about Emu and the Gorosei, I'm sure there's like some level of approval there. So I don't know. They might know a thing or two. Narrator with the $5 super chat. Thank you very much, dude. Thank you. This is like your fifth super chat? Thank you. Observation haki can't detect outside a body because a body is made of cells. Cells have DNA, and DNA is the conduit of haki, so it's a haki cage. I love that idea. I actually really, really love that idea. And speaking of like a cage, you go back to Doflamingo with the bird cage, and I've always thought that's like a pretty important parallel where like he basically did what the world government wanted to do, where like once the people in the city found out the truth that he was actually the bad guy and he orchestrated all this, he was like, well, I'm just going to eliminate all you by putting you in a cage and then you can't get out and I'll, take care of business in here. So it always made me think that like the government probably, like they pretty much did the same thing with the Void Century, more or less, it feels like. So I think that kind of cage idea, just as an aside, I think is actually really important. But as far as what you're talking about, like on how, like I said, the snakes, you can't detect Haki through the snakes, or you can't, or like with Emeth or whatever. What you're talking about is a really good way of thinking of it, where it's like a Haki cage where like, I mean, I think a Haki cage is a good way of thinking of it, but it's almost maybe more of like a natural thing where usually once you're in the body of another being, it's like you're eaten, like you're supposed to be dead. So maybe that's another thing, like it's a defying death thing. But I like the way you're putting it here, because we've also learned a lot more about lineage factor recently, which is tied to your DNA. You think back to how like S-Snake still loved Luffy, and that was like, through the cloning of the DNA. Like S-Snake had no prior knowledge of Luffy or prior, experiences, but still kind of did the same things as Boa. So we know that like DNA and like will, which is also tied to Haki, like these things all seem to kind of be connected in some way. So I'm with you. I think that makes a lot of sense. And it could also go into the Emeth thing, where like Emeth isn't alive. He's like, he is, but he's not. He's a robot, but he was also turned off for a while, whatever. But if he was living and had Haki at some point, it might explain the same thing. Like Haki can't escape out of it because I guess it's somebody else's Haki. Like you can't send Haki from another Haki source is maybe kind of a way of thinking of it. Once you're inside another being, it's like their Haki transcends yours, I guess. I don't know. That's real. It's more interesting the way gets more interesting the more I think about it. I just can't talk today. Because of how important lineage factor is, because that's obviously something that Oda is building even more and more on, with the potential of Clone Piece coming, which we'll see how deep it goes, but I know there's a lot of clone theories out there, so I don't know. I think that's a pretty cool idea. Haki is the soul, narrator, you just said. Yes, exactly. Like, because so going back to Emeth, right? Like, if he has a soul, if he can be turned back on and living, it's kind of the same thing. Like somebody else's Haki inside can't transcend that because his soul is still there. And maybe the soul, we're going to find out, is like the most powerful thing, because like I feel like Haki is kind of a situation where, now Conqueror's Haki might be a little bit different, but everybody has the propensity to use Haki, which means they all have that power within them. It's just about like training it and honing it and tapping into it. So I think it just goes to show like every living thing has the propensity to have really strong Haki and to block other people's from even working. It's just they don't really know it. But this element of it works on a very natural scale, I guess. Nickel Vento, member for 13 months, bro. I hope you're doing well, by the way. Haki is will. Once inside someone, their will greater than yours. Exactly. That's exactly how I'm viewing it. And because you could even think of it like, if I eat you, if I'm an island whale and I go and eat you, even if you're still alive in me, like I won. Like my Haki was greater, quote unquote, because my will to defeat you was greater. Now, if you're able to get out of there, then okay, then maybe things change. But while you're, in my stomach, like I won. Like that's kind of that's how nature works, right? If we go all the way back to the very beginnings, like, that's they're kind of eating each other to survive. Whoever's the fittest wins, So, yeah, maybe it all ties back to that. There was another comment I saw that I wanted to respond to. Michael Evans, you said just got here. What'd you think of the chapter? Great chapter, man. Excellent. We now know what the treasure of Hachinosu is, which is crazy. We have a lot of the backdrop for God Valley. So I don't know, and I feel like nobody had Shaki on their bingo card, so I don't know. Let's see. I just had the super chat pop up over on Streamlabs, but not YouTube, which is weird. But narrator, you also said last one, erasing a century last one. Erasing a century by erasing the memory of someone or a group so influential that forgetting them means forgetting a century. Hobby. Yeah, dude, that's another great parallel to the Void Century. Like Dressrosa is so end game coded, it's crazy. Like even down to the point that Doflamingo is like a like a celestial dragon who left the Holy Land, and now he's trying to get back up there, and he's trying to become king of the world, and he's going for the Op fruit, which might have immortal use surgery. And we know a lot of these guys, at least the Gorosei, like they have not been aging, and Emu's been around for 800 years. Like Dressrosa is so endgame coded, it's crazy. And so you go back to the hobby fruit, where obviously you turn people to toys and people forget about them. It's not just that the toys forgot things. The toys actually didn't forget anything. It's that everyone forgot the past of those toys. And so basically, if you turn enough and I don't know if Emu would have had that fruit specifically, but probably use something similar. But like if you can get enough people to forget about the past, then it's effectively erased. Even the Tentada had their history books erased, or like there was just nothing in them. So I don't know if they actually got erased or how that works. But yeah, Dressrosa, man, it's got all the answers for the end. Seriously, it's like there's so much foreshadowing. But it makes me wonder what Emu did to erase memories. Like, you know, you think back to Vegapunk and Punk Records. Like one idea that I've heard that, or a lot of people said this back when we first heard about Punk Records. But what if there was a Punk Records back in the day that everyone hooked up to, and then Emu just clipped out the Void Century part so everyone forgot it, and they're like, well, I'm just going to keep living my life. I don't know why there's this random gap, but whatever. It's kind of like how people, whenever they forgot their loved ones in Dressrosa, they just started living their lives. It wasn't like they, you know, like were freaking out about this forgotten part of their memory. They forgot. It's just kind of how it works. So I wonder what Emu's power is to make people forget, or maybe Emu just killed everybody, you know, maybe Emu just went to the worst possible option. I don't know. Then I saw we have a couple other supers, but I'm going to skip to yours real quick. You said Emu's a toy. Just kidding. If Oda flipped it that way, I wouldn't even be surprised, man. If Emu was the toy and like, I don't know how that would all work. Like, I don't know if that would necessarily tie to the forgetting part of it, but if Emu was a toy and maybe everyone forgot Emu, and maybe that's part of it because Emu doesn't want to be remembered. Emu wants to be hidden from the world or whatever. I don't know. That the more I think about it, you might actually be cooking. Take away the JK from that comment. I don't know. I don't know if you need the JK, man. I think you're actually cooking. Emu is the plushie. Yes. Emu is just a plushie. That's actually hilarious. I really want to get an Emu plushie though. I'm going to pull up eBay real quick. How much are they? I mean, I don't even know where I can buy them normally, but eBay's where I usually go to. Let's see. I can get one shipped for less than $60. That's not terrible. Oh my God. Some of the... Wait. Is this... Okay, never mind. I don't want to pull this image up, but I see this image with Emu. It's the plushie Emu in a room with a plushie Straw Hat, like redoing the Frozen Straw Hat scene. Is that Straw Hat also buyable? That is crazy. But yeah, like $60 delivered. That's not bad. I feel like for an Emu plushie. I don't really know, but... Good Vibes TCG... member for 33 months. Good vibrations, my guy. He said, looking cute today, bro. Thank you. You too. I don't even need to see an image of you to know that you are. Okay. And I also had to pull your channel up because I see that your @ is Good Vibes TCG, but I see the regular name is still Good Vibrations. The @ I don't know what YouTube did, man, but the @ they're cooking me. They are absolutely cooking me. They're throwing me off. But thank you very much, dude. And D, don't worry, I am getting to your super chats. It's just whenever I see him pop up on screen, I try to react to him quickly. But don't worry, I am getting to yours for sure. Actually, Debus. I'm going to do Debus's and then yours because Debus was first. Oda loves Final Fantasy VII, which I have not played, by the way, but I need to. The Mother Flame is just like the life stream, a bunch of souls, all living beings, past and present, at the core of the planet. See, and again, I don't know enough about this to really speak on the game part of it or what the life stream was, but this idea where there's like a bunch of souls, maybe at the core of the planet that Emu's using, I really like that, and I like it for a few reasons. If you go back to the first world, we heard that like the enslaved were forced to go down to the Forbidden Sun, which seemed to be in the center of the earth, essentially. And it seemed like those people were all bringing that power up and using it for some kind of machine or whatever, right? And since that's the first world, if we assume that's pre-Void Century, then that would not have been an Emu thing, because Emu wanted to take over later. So it's like this would have been a different leader that Emu was fighting against, why the 20 Kings probably existed. And so I wonder if the idea is maybe because so much energy was taken from the Earth, Emu is now putting energy back in through the form of living people, basically, like taking souls and refilling the energy from the Earth, because maybe the Earth was about to crumble from like too much energy being taken out, because the reason that the moon people left the moon is because they ran out of resources, which I take as a parallel to what the Earth was doing. So maybe Emu stepped in, hey, I'm not going to let you take all the energy because this planet's too important. And then now Emu's refilling the coffers, so to speak, with living people. I actually kind of like that idea. It'd be kind of dark, but it would be cool, and I think it fits. So I wish I knew more about Final Fantasy to really speak on it, but somebody actually told me recently that I need to play it, because I think on the Switch 2 they have a version of it or whatever, because I got the Switch 2, but maybe I need to go check that out. And then D, it is your turn. D634. Shacky's undies is the treasure confirmed. Honestly, bro, if that, maybe that's Captain John's treasure. Because if, you know, Captain John, if he's, you know, now we know he's on Hachinosu right now. We don't know what his treasure ended up being. I feel like that'd be very weird, but also it would tie to Brooke, right? And not that Brooke and Captain John have a connection necessarily, but it's like that Brooke gag has gone so deep. Maybe that's where Oda's going, is that there are actually going to be some important undies somewhere, you know? I feel like Captain John's treasure is just the perfect middle ground. And maybe he kept it away from Hachinosu because he didn't want anybody to steal it, so that's why it's on like a separate place. And actually, didn't the island that Buggy go to, didn't it have a skull on that island too? So it's like another Hachinosu. We might be onto something, D. You might be cooking. You might actually be cooking. Debus, you said, I haven't played Final Fantasy VII either, but it came out around the same time Oda started writing One Piece. Interesting. I did not know that. I actually, you know what? Let me look up the, oh my god, bro. That's Final Fantasy VII. I never played it. I'm going to pull up an image. So I have this game for the PS1 in the other room right now. I have this exact case, this cover. I've never played it, but I recognize the cover so much because I looked at it like my whole childhood and never played the game. I think it's a multi-disc game, and I'm missing one of the discs, which is why. But I didn't know it was that game. I actually have that game in the other room, the OG version, but I'm sure they have newer versions now. Hydrogen, you said, what if the One Piece is a piece of paper like the one Ace gave Luffy? And then I think Michael Evans said like a Viver card. Yep. Yeah, I think I've heard a theory similar to that. I don't know if they said it would just be just a Viver card, but I can't remember exactly. But one thing it does make me think of is that Viver cards are made from keratin, right? Like your nails or your hair. If I remember correctly, I'm going to go double check. They say fingernail clipping, but your nails and your hair are made from the same thing, which is keratin, so there is a connection there. And so if Viver cards can reasonably be connected to hair, then maybe the One Piece is an afro, after all. Maybe it is some hair. You never know. D, you said, on a serious note, do you think Garp is on par with Rox? I think at this point, Rox is above Garp. Like, now, is Garp at his peak, like, as strong as Rox? I mean, how old is Garp here? This was 42 years ago. And he is 78 now, so he's probably in his prime right now, because he's like 36. So he's probably in his prime. So I don't know. I guess maybe Rox is just stronger. Because remember, Roger and Garp teamed up to defeat Rox. So that should tell us right there how strong he is. Now, I don't know. Maybe Garp gets stronger later because Rox probably is a little bit older, so he had more time. So who knows? But I'm thinking Rox is above Garp. I'm thinking Rox is the freaking GOAT at this point. Tiny Angry Gnome, you said, yep, and keratin is used to make pyrobloin. Oh, see there. Now we're piecing all the things together. We're cooking. I don't know if the One Piece is actually going to be an afro because of that, but hey, if keratin's going to be tied to the soul, because that's literally what the Weaver card does. It's finding your soul basically. So I don't know. But all right, guys, we are past the 2-hour mark. I think I said an hour ago that I was going to go for 20 or 30 more minutes or something, but we are past 2 hours. I got to go get some stuff done. I might have to do a video on this chapter now, so we're gonna have to get to work. But thank you guys for watching. So we have another break week, and I feel like I've said this every break week, but now I'm finally ahead on things in life and on YouTube in general. So we are definitely going to have a stream during the break week, maybe multiple streams, because I don't know if we're gonna. Maybe we can talk about the live action a little bit because that looked really cool. I know there's a new opening and stuff for One Piece. I'm also several episodes behind on the anime. I still haven't seen the climax of the Kuma flashback in the anime. I've heard it's great. I know I'm missing out. I will definitely check that out. I've been waiting to stream. So we're gonna have at least one stream, probably multiple over this break. So stay tuned. We're gonna have a video for sure. So stay tuned for that. Thank you guys for your support as always. One more super chat here that's just slipped in from Mr. Bushido. The One Piece is just a bathing suit belonging to Shaki. Honestly, with the way Oda has built up Shaki over the last couple chapters, I would not be surprised. And if it's not, like we just said, it's at least Captain John's treasure, which I know that's something you've theorized about a lot, I think, Mr. Bushido, if I remember correctly. But at this point, Shaki's the pirate queen. I mean, shoot. What else are we going to say? So anyway, thank you guys very much. If you guys haven't joined the Discord, go ahead and join down below. There's always tons of good discussions going on in there, whether that's... I mean, I'm usually in there, but even when I'm not, there's great discussions going on. So go check it out. But otherwise, I'll see you guys on the next stream or the next video.